You know, as we're about 6 months into facing COVID-19, and I hope just a few months getting out of it, I want to share that there have been a couple of people that have been so instrumental to our county's success, and really people I could not live without. Erin Litvack, one of my deputy mayors, who has also taken the role as our operations chief under our emergency operation around COVID. And then her husband, David Litvack, who's a senior leader at Salt Lake City and is working to combat homelessness.
David is the most good-natured guy, and I think that's what has made him such a good leader in all of the capacities that he has in Salt Lake City. And he assumes the best of people, which is a rare find for people in politics sometimes.
Everybody seems to know David, and also whether it's Republicans or Democrats, everybody seems to like David and respect him and have a positive opinion about him.
The word for me to describe David Litvack is grace. Such a pleasant, wise voice, and that's so appreciated.
Erin has one of the most infectious laughs. There will be meetings going on down the hall that I know are intense meetings. In the midst of it, you hear Erin's laughter come and echo through the halls of the mayor's office. And it's just such a relief to know that things must be going well, that Erin can bring some much needed levity to the most serious of moments.
I sit with Erin in meetings a couple of times a week. It used to be in person all the time. It's now by Zoom quite often. I'm telling you, sometimes Erin Litvack scares me. She is so smart, and she has been at the county for so long, and I'm the mayor, so I'm supposed to have all the answers. So I'll answer a question, I'll look around, I'll look at Erin, I'm like, was that right? Did I get that right?
Erin never brought me a problem without also bringing a solution. She would say, here's the challenge that we're facing, and here's how I think we can address it.
The relationship between David and Erin, I think it's fascinating. They've been married for a long time. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and I think they're one of the nicest couples I know.
People have no idea what has been accomplished in our community because of Erin and David Litvack. It was an incredible asset when I was the mayor of Salt Lake County to have my key person at the county married to the key person at Salt Lake City. When Salt Lake County and Salt Lake City maybe weren't seeing eye to eye, you had Erin and David Litvack who worked things out and brought back to both sides a solution that we could enact and get things done.
David and Erin are my kind of people. They feel our homeless friends are as important as other friends.
Right when the pandemic came, we sat around the table and started thinking of strategies. Things that we could do to help make sure that individuals were safe. And we knew that those experiencing homelessness were both on the streets as well as in shelters.
We needed to take our most vulnerable homeless individuals, move them out of shelters into quarantine and isolation at times. We had to come together and find new ways to serve the community.
What you see with the Litvack family is people who care deeply about their faith and who then put their faith into action. Whether they're in the synagogue or out on the streets of Salt Lake City, are every single day epitomizing, living and reinforcing Jewish values and what it means to be Jewish.
I'm a little protective of David because he's an incredible and a finite resource. There's no one like David Litvack in the state of Utah. No offense to Erin, they have different skill sets, but the county's got Erin Litvack. Salt Lake City deservedly has David Litvack, and we don't want to let him go. So I said, you can have him to collaborate, but he's coming right back to City Hall when this is over.
I think it's actually almost blessed that Mayor Mendenhall had the foresight to put David in that critical role. At the same time, under our new structure at Salt Lake County, Erin Litvack was in a critical role related to people in need and our fragile populations.
I worked with Erin and David most closely when we were working on criminal justice reform and homelessness and trying to provide better options for behavioral and mental health treatment for people who are experiencing homelessness. And Salt Lake City is the police department, the law enforcement of downtown Salt Lake, but Salt Lake County is the human services, the homeless services, the major funder of all of those services. So you really can't do anything to improve the situation of public safety and homeless services without having Salt Lake County and Salt Lake City on the same page.
One of the most proud strategies that we've deployed here in Salt Lake County in the response to COVID-19 has been a hotel program called the Stay Home, Stay Safe Vulnerable Populations Hotel Program. And this really is a demonstration of both David and Erin's strengths coming together to help serve our community. We could design it, we could program it, we figured out with partners how to operationalize this great idea. But what about the hotel? Within minutes of going to Erin and talking to her about this, she was on the phone. She is a go-getter. She takes care of business.
So we found temporary housing. We found a hotel. Erin set that up. She was critical at building our quarantine and isolation operations that have proven to be such a success.
I just have a vivid memory of sitting around that table, and it's actually David's brainchild. He thought about creating a really dynamic, multidisciplinary outreach team. So bringing in law enforcement, bringing in public health nurses, bringing in the service providers who are helping to connect to a community and building relations with those who are on the streets.
That's the kind of atmosphere and environment that David and Erin provide. It's conducive to working together, and it's conducive to listening and not putting people down. And that's how we problem solve and get the right solutions.
It actually is a model that I think could really be utilized beyond COVID. I think it's one of those things that if we're thinking about addressing homelessness holistically, this is one of those really innovative responses that we can all learn from moving forward.
Thanks to the leadership of the Litvacks and Catherine Fife and Mayor Wilson, our numbers are much lower than the general public in Utah. And we've been able to take the example of what's been happening in Salt Lake County and sharing it with the rest of the state.
From the parents running the kosher co-op to help provide food for those in our community, to the incredible holy work that both David and Erin do for our Salt Lake community at large. But also I've seen this passion for social justice work in their kids too.
I have a lot of respect for Erin and David with all of the work they do in the community, but also as parents. You see how they're raising their kids to give community service, to care about others, and to be self-sacrificing in those endeavors. And they are bringing into our community some future contributors in their children.
David and Erin are humble. They're quiet heroes in our community. They work oftentimes behind the scenes, and you have no idea the compassion and the effort and the thoughtfulness that they put into their work.
But it's not about advancement in power for the Litvacks. It's about service to the community. And I think that's amazing.
I think it's wonderful that we have this opportunity to say thank you to Erin and David while they're still doing this great work with us, not at the end of their career. And I hope that they feel the love and the gratitude from the entire community as we take this second to appreciate them and now get back to work.